It seems like everyone in Cardano is concerned about throughput and scaling these days. So, Hydra, the layer 2 solution, is often looked to as our savior. While Hydra will help, the more important theme might be that the scaling path of Cardano will itself seem serpentine. While the deployment of many components of Basho may leave a trail that makes it look like we're just going sideways, those are actually the highly orchestrated tracks of all the founding entities of Cardano and the community together as we silently and efficiently propel ourselves down the road toward our destination like a single powerful pulsating organism. Ready? Let's go. Today, we're going to discuss a new perspective on Hydra from Input Output Global, Kraken's new Cardano report, which was very good, Daedalus 4.8.0, and a new tool that you might find useful if you like to use Muesli Swap. Right now, all anyone can talk about is congestion, and the answer to congestion is scaling in this narrative. And the first word out of people's mouths when they think about scaling is Hydra. While Hydra is just one piece of Basho, which is the scaling initiative at IOG and throughout Cardano that's going to take place in a big way this year in 2022, we do have a lot of new information about Hydra, courtesy of this article from Matthias Bencourt. The key detail to remember with Hydra is that a Hydra head is just a state channel. It's a very cool state channel since the same smart contract code that works on L1 works in Hydra. That's the isomorphic part, but it's still just a state channel. That means that all participants in a Hydra head must agree on the validity of each transaction in the Hydra head. In terms of the relationship with L1, Matthias makes a great comparison here to a private poker table with the smart contract as dealer, complete with diagrams, as you can see here. There are as many chips in at the start of the night as there are chips out at the end of the night. When you go home to your spouse, they won't know what happened at the table, but they'll know how much money you came home with. This is because the same amount of money comes in as comes out, but the distribution of those assets might be different. So the total amount is the same, but the distribution is different. The outside world of the layer 1 can't see what's happening inside the Hydra head, but it does see what you bring back to layer 1. This is obviously a very different consensus mechanism than we have on layer 1. We'll be able to achieve a very high TPS inside these Hydra heads, but at least in the initial version of Hydra heads, it won't really be a solution for anything involving large scale groups of people. These are things like NFT drops and consumer to consumer micropayments, since everyone has to agree to each transaction. Matthias tells us here that the first version of Hydra will allow for small groups of participants to scale up their traffic at low cost. So if you've got a limited group of people, not a gigantic group, and they're doing a bunch of transactions together, you'll be able to hit a high TPS rate and do so inexpensively with this first version of Hydra. Luckily, the story doesn't end there. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, I don't want to hear this talk about small groups of people. I want to talk about mega NFT drops. I want to talk about huge scale, large numbers of people doing all kinds of transactions. That's what I'm really all about right now. If you fall into that camp, you might be interested in a paper published recently called Interhead Hydra. Two heads are better than one. While this sounds like something you might watch while your spouse is at the supermarket with your VPN set to Antarctica, it is actually the formulation of a method for connecting two Hydra heads, and down the road, maybe even creating a network of interconnected Hydra heads. If there is eventually some kind of global network of Hydra heads, then that obviously opens up possibilities for much larger networks of Hydra head users. Matthias also went out of his way to explain that running Hydra heads will not be the sole domain of SPOs. Anyone will be able to open a Hydra head He specifically imagined a possible future where all of the top light wallets could decide to open Hydra heads to provide instant and cheap payments between their users. When he talks about things like this, it gives me hope that Hydra could eventually be used for some of those use cases he said earlier in his article that Hydra won't initially fit. He said we'll get more detail on Hydra heads in the February mid-month development update. The Cardano community is nothing if not resourceful. So if you're telling me it's possible, we could end up in a future where all the top light wallets are involved in this network of Hydra heads, I think we're going to be able to come up with some pretty interesting things. Whether you believe Cardano under Hydra will become a lightning fast bullet serpent or not, it looks like someone was impressed with Cardano when we take a peek at this new, very pro Cardano report from Kraken Intelligence. If you were around Cardano in the pre-Coinbase days, you'll probably remember that Kraken was one of the few mainline exchanges where you could actually buy ADA. That level of support seems to continue in this report. When Kraken is talking about the early days of Cardano, they're quick to point out that Cardano wasn't born into the arms of VCs like some of its competitors. They point out that Cardano distributed 83% of its initial circulating supply to the public, while competitors such as Solana, Flow, and Avalanche each issued more than 40% of their initial tokens to insiders, the founding team, the company, and venture capitalists. That's the kind of objective reporting we have seldomly seen in crypto as far as Cardano goes. And here's some more. Kraken straight up tells their readers, hey, in Bitcoin, the top 4 mining pools control 57% of the hash rate. In Ethereum, the top 3 pools control 55%. That's some decentralization, my friends. No, it's not. in Cardano, they say the top 21. You have to get to 21 different stake pool groups before you see a representation of 50% of the stake supply. Obviously, this is very hotly debated right now and divisive. It's hotly debated and divisive in Cardano when we talk about the decentralization of stake pools and stake pool groups, as they term them here in the Kraken report. We think of them as single pool operators or multi-pool operators. But, Kraken makes a good point. You're talking about 3 or 4 pools in Bitcoin and Ethereum that already push you over 50%. In Cardano, you've got to get to 21 different stake pool groups before you hit 50% of the stake supply. Here's another table included by Kraken Intelligence that tells the story of the excellence of Cardano staking. Not only do we have the highest percentage of circulating supply staked, not only do we have the only 0-day lockup period of any of the competitors included in this table, but most importantly to me maybe is that we don't have slashing. What is slashing? We've talked about it a million times on this channel, but if you don't know, the Gen 3 proof of stake blockchains, they have a hurdle they have to surmount. And that hurdle is they have to prevent malicious behavior by the stake pools. And the way they prevent this malicious validation of blocks in the cases of all of our competitors is by saying, hey, if you do anything malicious, we're actually going to slash the token holdings of the stake pool, which is going to be the token holdings of the delegators. So if the stake pool gets slashed, then you as a delegator have to worry about whether or not your coins are going to disappear. This also explains why Cardano is the only one with a 0-day lockup period. How are you going to slash someone's coins if it's a situation like Cardano where we can keep our coins on our ledgers? Nobody is slashing my coins while they're on my ledger. And of course, the other blockchains do not want you doing that. They want to take possession of your coins. They want to take custody of your coins while they're staked for some period of time, here between 2 and 28 days. That makes it a lot easier to slash those coins. And they have all kinds of explanations about why you don't need to worry about slashing, why it's not an issue, why this isn't a gigantic detriment. You know why I don't worry about coin slashing? Because coin slashing doesn't exist on Cardano. That's pretty much the only way I'm not going to worry about coin slashing, if it doesn't exist. This is a part of why I chose Cardano all those years ago. With some of our competitors, the protocol itself can be a lobster trap where you involuntarily lose your coins. For me, even just that alone, there are many, many reasons, but even just that alone made it very easy to choose Cardano. I don't want to have to worry about some code written by Vitamin Butters and his friends taking my coins. This is a big report. It's 41 pages long. There's a lot in here. I'll let you check out the rest of it for yourself. But in sum, thank you, Kraken Intelligence, for giving us an objective, fair shake for once in crypto. Yo, we now have Daedalus 4.8.0 on the mainnet. Here's the upshot. Our main man Charles says it is a massive performance improvement. I'll let you try it out. Let me know. Let me know. Try it out. Let me know. Is it a massive performance improvement or not? What do you think? Finally, one of the things about the Cardano community that has always impressed me so much is our lightning quick development of third-party tools. I mean, what was it? Was it 2 months ago and change? No one even knew Muesli Swap was in the planning stage. Nobody knew that Muesli Swap was going to drop on us and be the first DEX in Cardano. But here already we have a cool tool called yummymuesli.com. I guess it's yummymuesli.com. And if you look at any of these listed assets, you can get data on, oh, looks like it's not loading. Okay, there we go. You can get data on the actual completed trades. So you're probably aware when you look at Muesli right now, if you go into one of the assets into the order book, the number you see up there is kind of an average between the two top orders on either side of the order book. But here are the actual completed trades. So you can see transactions apparently that were actually made on Muesli Swap. This is very useful to me. Big thank you to the makers of this new tool. I hope you had a great week and you're getting all amped up for a fantastic weekend. I will talk to you soon.